The day she came up to me, and I'll never forget it, Barbara, she said, "Mommy, when's the good fairy going to come with her magic wand and change, my genitalia?"
They insist they were born into the wrong body. This 17-year-old boy is biologically a girl.
It seemed nature had played a cruel joke on me. Of all the horrible things that could have happened to me, why this one?
This 10-year-old boy lives as a girl. You know the word transgender. What does it mean?
A gender that wants to be the other one.
A gender that wants to be the other one. That is the most basic, non-existent explanation for the kind of trauma that these people end up going through. Jazz is in this interview. I think this was the first time Jazz made his debut. And we're just going to take a look at that. If you find that you like the information or you like these videos that I've been making, please go ahead and hit the like button. Thank you.
And yes, this 6-year-old girl was born a boy.
We'll say things like, "God made you special," because there aren't very many little girls out there that have a penis.
I mean, do you hear? So we're going to stay focused on Jeanette. Maybe I think this video is more about Jeanette. Do you hear the absolute gaslighting? God made you special. There aren't that many girls that are born with a penis. There's no such a thing.
They are transgender children diagnosed with gender identity disorder. Their parents insist this is not a phase.
A phase is called a phase because it is just that. It ends. And this is not ending. This is just getting stronger.
Did he tell you?
My child is a boy. It's not my fault that he was born transgender, and it's not his fault.
I've never known someone as brave as this child to face the world every day wondering who knows her secret and who doesn't.
So what we see here is that the mothers are always the loudest ones that are advocating for these children. It's always the mom. The dad is sitting on the side. Of course, even if dad is going along with it, it's always the mom saying everything. This is Munchausen by proxy.
Most transgender children still live in the shadows, hiding from a world that sees them as freaks of nature. Rejected by their families, many grow up hating their bodies, falling victim to high rates of depression, drug abuse, violence, and suicide.
I think we're a very normal family.
On the surface, Scott and Renee Jennings and their 4 children are a typical American family. They could be your neighbors. Their youngest,
Renee Jennings,
we'll call her Jazz, is a 6-year-old who has been living with a secret until now. Your child was born a boy, and now you call him a girl. Yes?
Yes.
Jazz is transgender and one of the youngest documented cases of an early transition from male to female.
This baby came out and basically said, "This is who I am. I'm a girl."
I miss you.
This baby came out and basically said, "This is who I am. I'm a girl." Yo, I've actually been looking for this footage for a while, y'all. Tell me, I'm glad we ran into it because I've been looking for this footage for a while.
From the moment he could speak, Jazz made it clear he wanted to wear a dress.
Say hello.
At only 15 months, he would unsnap his onesies to make it look like a dress.
All the babies I've been around have done that. Unsnap the onesie.
You said to Jazz, "Good boy," what would the reaction be?
Always, "No, Mommy, good girl."
What did you think, Scott?
I think initially I was in a bit of denial.
What was the first time that you had...
Hold up, y'all. We don't went into a whole nother... Who are these people, yo? Oh, my God. On the show, it's Jeanette and Greg. On this documentary or whatever, this 2020 thing, it's Scott and Renee. Or maybe they changed their names because of maybe for 2020. Maybe that's what it was.
Any inkling that this little boy, Jazz, was different?
The day she came up to me, and I'll never forget it, Barbara, she said, "Mommy, when's the good fairy going to come with her magic wand and change, my genitalia?"
How old was Jazz then?
2.
At 2, Jazz came to you and said, "When is a good fairy going to, I guess, take off my penis?" Is
Right,
what she was
and
telling
make it into a vagina. Yes.
What did you feel?
Just numb, frozen.
Gaslighting to a whole... Yo, bro, how did Barbara Walters even keep a straight face? At 2, genitalia. Then Barbara Walters loosely quotes her because she knows that it's a story. And then now she's like, yep, change it into a vagina at 2. 2 things would have happened at that point. One of 2 things. I would have either called the news and said, I have a genius here in my living room, or I would have ran out the house and said, my child is possessed.
They wanted to believe it would pass. After all, even their rowdy twin boys had painted their nails growing up. But Jazz kept gravitating to girl things, insisting that his penis was a mistake. When Renee opened this manual, used by mental health experts, she was shocked. Under gender identity disorder, Jazz met all 4 criteria for a diagnosis, including fantasizing about being the opposite sex. He was only 3, and even their pediatrician told them they had a serious problem.
She said, yes, I believe your child has gender identity disorder, and I recommend you go to a professional. My mouth.
So what you saw, that little footage with Jazz going and singing and dancing or whatever, if I'm even able to show it on this video, but that's not, I don't see anything that's happening there that's blatantly, I'm a girl.
Mouth opened up, and you literally had a scraping off the floor.
You are certain, doctor, that Jazz is a girl?
I can't say biologically, chromosomally, hormonally, but yes, very clearly, gender identity, female.
To confirm the diagnosis, the Jennings brought Jazz to Dr. Marilyn Voker, a therapist who specializes in sex and gender.
Who are these people? Because they use the last name, the Jennings, but they have different first names from the show.
The issues. How did you know that she was a transgendered child?
When we began to talk, and I used, whoops, the pronoun he, I was corrected. I'm a girl. I'm she.
Then Dr. Voker brought out anatomically correct male and female dolls.
I ask, and which are you like? Which is like your body? Jazz looks, and she says, this is me now. This is what I want.
What we can decipher from this is that there has been many adults in that child's life abusing that child, and there's just no other word for it. This is insane. This is I'm going to let up on some of the things that I was about to say, but wow. So fast forward to today, as usual, like I always say, I don't think that Jazz is that excited about that decision. Just saying.
Children like Jazz are transgender. They're only theories. Some scientists suggest that a hormone imbalance in their mother's womb gives these children's brains the wrong gender imprint. After the diagnosis, the Jennings explained the situation to their other children. In their home, they came to accept Jazz as a girl. There, he could wear a dress or dance as a ballerina. But in public, they kept his look more ambiguous or gender neutral, especially at preschool.
But this child wouldn't give up, was not happy until she could express herself indoors and outdoors.
Every day became a struggle. The preschool allowed Jazz to put on a pretty top, but he had to wear pants. Officially, Jazz remained a boy.
Hi, cutie. You going to show me how you dance?
When Jazz was 4.5, there was a dance recital. It was a disaster.
She wasn't allowed to wear a tutu like the rest of the girls. And she just kind of stood there and snapped her finger and, did tapping thing with the toe and just looked so sad. It was heartbreaking to watch, really heartbreaking.
The dance recital was a turning point. The Jennings then made the most difficult decision of their lives to let their son become their daughter.
Happy birthday.
On his 5th birthday, Jazz wore a one-piece bathing suit. He was now she, and an innocent pool party became a coming out.
That was
the other clip with the psych therapist, the doctor. She herself looks like there's something wrong with her. I mean, the way she's like pointing to the dolls and, when I used the pronoun, she made sure to let me know, no, it's she. You people are listening to a child that is being groomed to think this way, okay? Remember, Jeanette said at 2 years old, the child said they wanted a new genitalia, Okay. I mean, just baffling. Anybody who would have walked into my doctor's office with this kind of situation going on, I would have had the mother checked out. And I might have called the cops. I might have to, yeah, I'm a mandated reporter. So I would have called the cops and been like, there's some sort of mental abuse going on here. Now, when you program a child to constantly be involved in certain kind of behavior and certain kind of quote fun things like getting dressed like a girl, and it's always rewards, right? Okay, Jazz wears a girl shirt and the family's happy and they're clapping. Jazz has the wig on and they're always happy and they're clapping and everything. And everybody's, playing along at home. Now that it becomes blurred lines for this child because they're not understanding how come they can't do it in school. If they get the same reaction at home, if they get the positive reaction at home, shouldn't they get the same reaction in school? You learn first at home. So there's a lot of blurred lines. So when you see him there, and now he's not having a tantrum and saying, oh, I have to go dance with the kids and stuff or whatever. He's snapping his fingers. He's kind of doing the thing with the toe because he's kind of like, well, I don't know. Like, at home, this is okay, but can I just go and do that there? How come mom isn't saying anything and making a big stink about this? And they put all of this on video. These people knew what the agenda was from the door. Everything, every single aspect is taped. Every aspect except for the big reveal of at 2 years old saying, I need new genitalia. There's no footage of that, but that happened at 2. So it's just to watch that. It's all meticulous. It's all calculated. And then, of course, the big reveal at the birthday, Jazz came out with a bathing suit and now Jazz was a girl. I seriously, and more when I watch this footage in my mind, I really do believe that Jazz was bred for this. I'm sorry to use any other term. I really I feel like they had that baby just for this purpose. I do, because there's nothing else that makes any sense to me because this is very early. You see, this documentary or this footage, this 2020 footage, really stays focused on Jazz. I don't know how much it goes into the other kids, but there's a lot of Jazz in it. Jeanette is more than happy to answer the questions. The dad is sitting there, of course, like a simp, so, and Jeanette just gets to go along with her Munchausen by proxy. Munchausen by proxy is something that it is a very calculated, quote, disease. These people they're not amateurs to the game, okay? That woman, she might have saw some sort of footage before she got pregnant with Jazz, where people were starting to talk about this anomaly, this thing that's happening with kids that they're noticing. And then it probably came to her mind, like, I want to make a child and I want that to happen to my child. And then we start to orchestrate the behaviors. We start to orchestrate the events and the situations for it to go this way. And now today, this kid is not happy. Now today, this child, their whole existence is based upon, quote, I'm transgender, I'm LGBTQ. Their whole existence has been a poster child for this mutilating and terrible decision. It makes it all the more worse. It really does. It's just horrible. The fact that Jeanette was able to get away with this, and the fact that she got a whole show and contract and everything out of this, instead of being committed at least for some involuntary assessment to find out that is she okay? Is she okay? Because like I keep saying, you don't hear the stories anymore of the mothers who are putting the pine sol in the cereal. They don't have to do that anymore. They don't want to get gypsy roast, okay? So they don't have to do that anymore. All they got to do is just put their child in different kind of clothes and say, here's my new kid. My kid is transgender, and let all the rewards come. And this time, there's no investigations needed. There's no trouble to get into. There's no cons to this. They could get right away with this. They could get away with this and they'll be fine. And who suffers? It's the person. It's the child who suffers. And nobody cares. I'll see you at the next video. Bye.